Hey guys, welcome to Bloodlines. I'm Olvaar, and in this video we're going to see how you can unlock the Taijutsu skill path all the way up to green gates regardless of your bloodline. I'll explain how to gain access to the Elite exclusive mode blue gates and how you can open the gates of death and use the strongest ability in the game. Let's go. So if you're a Elite player and you want to get your clan's progression, you have to unlock the Taijutsu skill path. It's this one right here. The first skill is called Weighted Kick, and you'll need a combat scroll and a chakra shard to unlock it. I already explained how to get these items in detail in my beginner's guide. If you're new, I suggest you watch that video first, but in case you missed it, I'll give you the quick version. To get the combat scroll, you'll need to head to training grounds. You want to hit one of these logs until this NPC spawns. Defeat it, and then pick up this green broken armor piece because you will need it for a quest. Once you have that, follow this path to get to the combat instructor. Talk to him to start the quest, and ignore what he's saying about needing to hit the log 1,000 times. All you need to do is hand in the green broken armor piece that you just got. You'll get a combat scroll as well as a chakra fragment when you do so. The next thing you want to do is break a chakra point to get a chakra shard. To break a chakra point, you will need two things: a chakra fragment, which you already got from the previous quest, and a 100 Rio. Then just sit on the chakra point and click on destroy. Once you have the combat scroll, the chakra shard, and a bit of Rio, just sit on another chakra point to unlock the weighted kick skill. Now this opens up the Taijutsu skill path, but to get green gates you will actually need to unlock a lot of other skills. You'll need various amounts of chakra fragments and Rio for each skill. To unlock Taijutsu combat, you'll need to get Acumen, which you get from defeating NPCs. And you'll also need a Red Smith's mold, which you can get after defeating the Barbarian. You can pick up a mission from your village's mission board to do this, or just head to Windy Plains 1 and defeat the Barbarian that's sleeping near the catacombs. He's very easy to fight. When he does his jump attack, just make sure you're mid-air when he lands to avoid the damage. You can perfect block his punch attacks by blocking right as he pulls his arm back. Do this 3 times to stun him for a bit, and use this chance to land a few easy hits. And yeah, just repeat this process until he's knocked. Then just press B to grip him. Make sure you pick up the mold afterwards. You don't actually need to pick between improved whirlwind and improved barrage, so make sure you get both because they're both very useful. Chakra punch is also a skill you should get even if it's not technically needed. You can purchase the chakra point you need to unlock the skill for 15 Rio by talking to the cunning collector, which you can find at Bio Bay by following this path. Green Gates is at the end of the Taijutsu skill path, and anyone can use this awakening ability regardless of their bloodline. Besides Rio and chakra fragments, you'll need Fighter's Wraps, which is a bit difficult to get. It's a rare drop after defeating the Tairock boss. To get to this boss room, you first want to head to Bio Bay and talk to the prisoner NPC. Just press E to do this. Click on the first dialogue option. He'll sell you a stone for 35 Rio, which acts as a key of sorts. Then you want to head to Rosemary Pit and you'll find a closed gate very close to the chakra point. You can use the stone you just got to open this gate. To start the fight, you want to M1 Tairock until he starts attacking you. Now, this boss used to be extremely easy, and it still is to be honest, but you have to be a bit careful. He has constant hyper armor now, so you have to be a bit more strategic in how you fight him. If you try trading M1s like I'm doing right now, you're going to lose very quickly. What you want to do instead is land attacks while you try to keep your distance. You should use dynamic entry to poke him and slowly wear him down. The M2 variant of Whirlwind can help you keep him away from you if he gets close. If your substitution skill is on cooldown, try not to engage him. If he catches you in an M1 string, he can seriously damage you. And also use your barrage moves to poke him and deal a bit more damage. There's really no reason to do this fight without being fully progressed, and I really don't recommend you do. I'm just doing this early because I was testing the requirements for this bloodline. Obviously, if you have a few more skills in your toolkit, this fight is going to be a lot easier. Anyway, once he's down, just press B to grip him. Getting the Fighter's Wraps isn't guaranteed at all. In fact, you'll probably have to kill Tairock a few times before you actually get it. But like I said, you can still get some of the requirements for the other gates even before you unlock the first one. And yeah, once you have some Rio, chakra fragments, and Fighter's Wraps, you'll be able to unlock green gates. The mode itself has 2 moves. The M2 skill is called Primary Lotus, and it's a close range attack similar to Lion's Barrage. If you land it, you're going to inflict a lot of damage with it. The M1 move teleports you right behind the player you're aiming the skill at, and you can combine both of these attacks to catch someone off guard. Again, this mode isn't exclusive to Elite. Any Thai user can access this regardless of their bloodline, but if you're not a Elite player, you do have to keep in mind that you'll take a small amount of damage when the mode timer runs out. What is exclusive to the Elite bloodline though is the next mode we're going to cover. Blue Gates is the main exclusive mode for the Elite bloodline. To get it, you'll need to start a quest by talking to the Tairock boss, the same one you fought to get the fighter's wraps. All you have to do is press E to talk to him while he's not in combat. You won't be able to start this quest immediately. Before he gives you this quest, you'll need to get a lot of combat experience. Thankfully, if you talk to him, he'll tell you what you're missing. Remember that you can use the progression soul, which you can find from corrupted points or as part of boss room rewards, to check some of your current stats. Make sure you check the pinned comments in this video in case there's any changes to the requirements I'm about to explain. If you talk to the Tairock boss and he says your fists are weak, this means that you're missing M1s. You can get M1s by hitting NPCs or other players. I recommend you fight NPCs if you want to get this mode quickly since it's much easier. Something important to understand is that hitting environmental objects is not going to count towards the amount of M1s you've done. You have to actually hit players or NPCs for this. If you're hitting their block, it won't count. Something else to consider is that if you're hitting multiple targets at the same time, you'll only get a single M1 per action. So if you're doing corrupted points and you want to focus on getting M1s quickly, fight the NPCs one-on-one instead of trying to kill as many enemies as quickly as possible. For this reason also, fighting bosses is a very good way of getting M1s quickly because you're hitting one target that has a lot of HP. Once you have 2500 M1s, you can talk to Tairock again, and he'll say your defense is weak. Basically, all you need to do is get blocks. You get these by blocking M1s from other players. Blocking jutsu like water pool will not work anymore, and you also can't get blocks by blocking NPCs. If you get someone to help you, you can probably get enough blocks in under 10 minutes, especially if they have Madara MS. You'll need 500 blocks to meet this requirement. Once you have that and you try talking to Tairock again, he'll say, I can tell you've yet to grasp the basics of your inner gates. This means that you're missing green gates activations. Quick reminder that you don't have to meet these requirements in order like I'm doing. I'm only doing this for testing purposes. So ideally, while you're getting M1s and blocks, you should also be spamming green gates as much as you can. I estimate you need around 50 green gates activations to get this mode. This stat isn't tracked by a progression soul, so I was kind of just counting and I can't be sure I got it exactly right, but it's around that ballpark. You can get these green gates activations quickly by using the mode and switching servers, or rejoining, or just jumping off the map while you're out of combat so you reset, similar to Sharingan and Jin activations. Once you have enough activations, you'll finally be able to start the quest. Basically, you're going to need to get from point A to point B while carrying some weights that will make it difficult for you to move, and that won't allow you to cast skills. You have to rely entirely on your taijutsu. There's some stuff I should mention before I show you the path you need to take for this quest. You won't be able to get someone with OB2MS to teleport you, and you also can't use rift type skills like the one from Sasuke's Rinnegan to get where you need to go. You have to go there by your own means. If you get knocked, you will fail the quest, and you'll need to age up once before you can try retaking it. Anyway, your objective is getting to the marker on screen. As you can see, there's a time limit to this. If that timer runs out, you will fail the challenge. For this reason, you want to activate green gates as much as possible because this increases your run speed. You also want to use dynamic entry to get around more quickly. Having flicker step is also a huge help for this quest. If you're going taijutsu, having the improved stamina skill path unlocked is recommendable for most builds, so you're probably good on this front. This isn't the optimal path or anything, I just think it's the easiest one to remember. You have more than enough time, as you'll see. I kind of forget to use green gates after this, and I still have a few seconds to spare by the end. Unless you get jumped, of course, which is why I recommend you bring some friends to protect you while you're doing this. But yeah, it's not impossible to do this alone as long as nobody attacks. If that does happen, you're probably going to run out of time though. When you get to this spot, make sure you avoid landing on the ice as much as possible, so you don't spawn NPCs with Amaterasu flame swords that will attack you. The ice platform in the middle is safe though. The worst part about having to start this quest over is that you do need to spend a big chunk of Ryo to get this gate open each time you try. And yeah, just follow this path. Try to keep moving to avoid the ice beast. You don't want to waste time trying to fight them. And yeah, make sure you avoid traps like this one. There's another trap here. When you get to this bridge, I recommend you stay to the right so you don't have to deal with parts of the bridge falling off when you step on them. There's a void down there and you will lose life force if you fall. Anyway, once you're past the bridge, you want to head to the left side. Go through this entrance and head up these steps. When you get to this area, you'll have to fight 3 NPCs. If someone is helping you with this quest, this fight should be a joke because they're not restrained by weights. If you're doing this alone, it's a bit more tricky because you can only use taijutsu skills to kill them. The trick to killing them is pretty similar to when you were fighting Tairock. You want to keep your distance and damage them with Dynamic Entry, Lion's Barrage, and the M2 variant of Whirlwinds if they get close. Unlike Tairock, these enemies don't have hyper armor, so you can try one-ing them. If you're running out of time, you're going to have to be a bit careless just to defeat them quickly. And yeah, just talk to Tairock to complete the challenge. You'll get a Lee affinity when you do, which you can use to unlock blue gates. Besides giving an even greater increase to run speed than green gates does, this mode has 3 different skills. The M2 skill is a barrage move that does quite a bit of damage and applies a burning ailment at the end. The M1 skill is Flicker Teleport, which is identical to the skill in the previous awakening. It will teleport you behind the player you're aiming the skill at. Like with green gates, you can combine both attacks to catch your opponent off guard. If you chakra charge an M1, you'll do a mid-range attack that does some small AoE damage if you get caught in it. It's a very solid awakening, but it pales in comparison with the Gates of Death, which we're going to cover next. So, Red Gates is the next ability you can get access to as a lead player, and it's also the most misunderstood one in my opinion. It's technically an awakening, but the best way to look at this ability, I think, is as a player-controlled event. When you activate this skill, you basically transform into a raid boss for everyone else in the server. Blue Gates is really the progression lead players get. It's their clan exclusive mode, just like some of the other clans have. Red Gates is just some insane ability that most people won't ever be able to unlock, and even less of them will actually decide to use, and that's intentional. The Elite Clan wasn't designed or balanced around this ability. Red Gates is really something extra and completely optional that you don't have to go out of your way to get. Lee is already a good clan with just Blue Gates. Anyway, the reason I was saying most League players won't even get this skill is because the requirements to get it are very high. And there's a good reason for this. This is easily the strongest ability in the game, as we'll see later in the video. You can check what requirements you're missing by talking to Might Guy. He's at the dojo where the quest to get Blue Gates was taking you. If you talk to him and he says your fists are weak, that means you're missing M1s. The process of getting these M1s is identical to the one I described from the previous segment. This is easily the biggest obstacle to getting Red Gates because you'll need 25,000 M1s. My suggestion is to just play the game normally on your Lee account. If you stay alive long enough, you'll eventually meet this requirement. It's better to not go out of your way to get these M1s quickly in my opinion, you're just going to burn out. If you do want to get M1s as soon as possible though, I recommend you purchase a Silver Kunai. It has a fast swing speed and does the least amount of damage out of all the Kunai weapons. And because you've unlocked the Taijutsu skill path, you do less damage with weapons than you normally would. All of this combined allows you to hit enemies quickly and not do a lot of damage, which will help you get M1s a bit faster than normal. But yeah, even with this method, it's not going to be quick at all. Once you have those 25,000 M1s and you try talking to Might Guy again, he'll probably say your defense is weak. The process of getting these blocks is the same as it was for Blue Gates. The only difference is that you'll need 2,500 blocks total this time around. It might seem like a lot, but if you have 25,000 M1s, you're probably not far off from having the necessary blocks. If you are, just get someone to help you out. You can probably get these in around half an hour or something. When you get the necessary blocks, you'll mention that you haven't grasped the power of the inner gates. This just means that you need around 100 Blue Gates activations. This is extremely easy to get by the time you have 25,000 M1s. I only got this dialogue because I went out of my way to not use Blue Gates because I was testing the requirements for the video. You most likely won't have to worry about this at all. And yeah, you don't have to get these requirements in this order. It can be in any as long as you meet them. Like always, make sure to read the pinned comments in case there's any changes to this. Once you meet all the requirements, you want to talk to Might Guy again. If you want to unlock Red Gates, you'll have to challenge him to a fight. It's a pretty tough fight if you don't know what you're doing, so make sure you're not low on life force when starting it. If you fail the challenge, you'll have to age up once before you can retry. The moment you accept the challenge, he will immediately start attacking you, so make sure you're holding block. The first thing you need to know about this fight is that you can only use your taijutsu skills. Bringing some sort of food item is essential if you're not reanimated. I was hoping I could rely on my healing ninjutsu to keep my HP full, but that's not possible here. Another thing that makes this fight a bit challenging in my opinion is that, like Tairock, he has hyper armor, so you can't really expect to trade M1s with him and stay alive for long. There are 3 different phases to this boss. The one you're seeing on screen right now is the first one, and there's really nothing too complicated about it. You want to keep your distance as much as possible with him. Use dynamic entry when you can, and also make sure to use lines barrage to keep him away from you. Even with hyper armor, you can still stun him for a bit, which really comes in handy. Improved whirlwind has a really low cooldown, so use that if you're out of options and he gets too close to you. And yeah, his moveset in this phase is pretty much identical to Tairock. He's just using basic taijutsu moves, so hopefully he doesn't give you too much trouble. Once you get him low enough, he'll enter his second stage and activate green gates. This gives him access to the complete moveset of that awakening. This means that he can now teleport to you, so you want to change your strategy entirely because you can't really stay far away from him easily. You want to hold your block as much as you can if you're not attacking. He can only really break your block with an M2 attack. His primary Lotus attack is really the main thing you want to make sure you block in this phase. When he teleports to you, you want to make sure to turn around to face him so you can actually block his attacks. It's very important you do this because he has a habit of using his primary Lotus attack right after he teleports behind you. He hits like a truck with this move, so avoiding it is really the trick to getting through this phase. When you block his primary Lotus attack, you'll have a short window of time in which you can attack him safely. I recommend you use Improved Whirlwind when that happens, and then just go immediately back to blocking. And yeah, just keep repeating this process until he enters this next phase. He'll activate blue gates in this phase. You want to try to stay as close to him as possible the whole time. His moveset in this phase is identical to the one you have with blue gates active. This means that he has a long range attack called Hirudora, which does a lot of damage and can quickly kill you. But if you block while you're really close to him, it won't hit you. Like in the previous phase, you have to watch out for his teleport move. I recommend you zoom in the camera so you can actually know what's going on when he uses his Hirudora attack. If you're zoomed out, it's very easy for him to teleport behind you without you noticing. You also have to watch out for his Sasakujaku attack. If he lands this move on you a few times, it's basically game over. Thankfully, when you block this attack, just like with primary Lotus, there's a small window of time in which you can attack him safely. Use a move like Improved Whirlwind and then just go back to blocking again. And yeah, just keep repeating this process until you defeat him. Make sure you don't forget to talk to Might Guy after the battle is over to complete the challenge. You'll get a second Lee affinity which you can use to unlock red gates. Besides this item, you're going to need 10 chakra fragments and 1000 acumen. You have to be extremely careful not to use this accidentally because you will wipe after you use this mode. That's why I was saying most people who even get this won't actually use it. There's always warning signs someone you know is planning on using red gates though. If you've seen them grind bosses and they say they're trying to find a memory soul because they want to change their build, but they want to keep some of the M1s they got once they wipe, or they're going on about how they're saving their all-star fruit bowl for something special and how you should not go to the Ninja Academy on Tuesday. And they keep mentioning how you were the only one that treated them well and everyone else in the village calls them a permafreshie, you should probably start worrying and let some Ambu or even Akage know about this. Try to reach out to them too. Sometimes telling someone that you see them and they matter is all it takes to stop them from popping red gates on the whole server. Red gates gives you huge buffs to mobility. With this mode, you can jump in the air as much as you want, so it's pretty easy to get away from other players if you're outnumbered. You also have an incredibly fast movement speed, so you can easily catch up to any player that is unlucky enough to be in the server. If you chakra charge on M1, you can use Sekitho. If you spam this on other players, you'll quickly get them low on HP. The M2 move is Night Guy, and it's easily the strongest move in the toolkit. The only downside is it's pretty hard to see where you're going with it. It has a huge hitbox though, and it's pretty easy to land this on multiple people. You can easily get other players low on HP with this move alone. You need to constantly kill people to extend how long you can stay alive. But yeah, thankfully killing a single player restores a huge chunk of your life force. If you get killed by a red gates user, you will lose 25% life force. If you're sitting at a chakra point or in a force field, you can log out safely. But if you step out, you'll have a special combat tech that makes you lose 50% of your life force when you log out. So your options are really to try to wait out the red gates user or log off the game and change server after you die once. Red gates users can also click on these skull icons to teleport right next to anyone in the map. So leaving after you die once and while you don't have this combat tag on you is probably your best course of action. Anyway, once your life force runs out in this mode, you'll be knocked in the ground for a few seconds. And after a few seconds pass, you will wipe, leaving you to reflect on your life choices. It's completely possible to reanimate after using red gates. However, if you're expecting to use red gates immediately after reanimating, you should know that this is not possible. You actually have to age up 10 times before you can use it again. If you're actually insane enough to use this ability, I recommend you try spamming Night Guy as much as possible. There really isn't any good counter to this move, and you can easily kill much better players than you with this attack. I'm sure a lot of people are asking themselves if using this mode is worth it. It definitely was for me because I get to show you how it works. If you're not planning on making content, it kind of depends on how much you hate the person you're using this on, I guess. This is a lot of effort for something that you're not going to experience for that long, all things considered. I think it has to be this way though. I was in the server for around 50 minutes and I could have probably kept it going for much longer if I wanted, but I didn't want to annoy too many people just for the sake of the video. If this was easy to get, you would see this mode constantly, and not only would it be annoying to other players, but it would kind of lose its charm in my opinion. And if this wasn't absurdly overpowered, it wouldn't feel like Red Gates, it would just be another mode with some different VFX. I think sometimes it's fine if some things in the game are underused, if that makes it feel a bit more special when you do see it. By the way, what this guy is doing is one of the things you want to do if there's a Red Gates user in the server. If you stall them for enough time, they might actually run out of life force. I definitely came close to actually losing here, but thankfully I was able to use Night Guy again with very little time to spare. If any of you watching recognize yourselves in the clip, let me know and I'll give you some life up tweets. Also, I'm not exactly sure why I got so much life force after killing this guy. Something else you can do is not stay in open areas like this. You want to stay next to voids so the Red Gates user doesn't want to engage you in a fight. This guy was trying to block Night Guy. I don't think that works. I do have some standards and I'm not going to attack oppression. You can't eat glowing fruits while in this mode, by the way, so you might as well drop the ones you have. It's kind of unfortunate that all the reputation I have is going to waste on someone from the neutral faction, but it is what it is, I guess. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.